Welcome back to the Two Blues podcast and to another live match preview ahead of Chelsea's game against Brentford this Sunday. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And let's get straight into the team news. Quite a few injuries for Chelsea on top of Pedro Neto missing through suspension. Badiashile with a minor injury in training the other day. João Felix still nursing an injury. Mudryk with an illness, I believe. And Romeo Lavia with a minor hamstring injury obviously came off against Tottenham, hasn't been risked since. But let's get into it. We've got Robert Sanchez in goal, maybe unfortunately for myself and probably for a lot of other Chelsea fans as well. We do prefer Jorgensen, but Sanchez keeps his position as our number one, even after that diabolical performance against Tottenham the other week. Cucurella back at left back. Obviously, he's been class, despite that little blip against Tottenham. So fingers crossed he's back to his best today. Levi Colwill on the left side of defence and Tosin Adarabioyo on the right side of defence, coming in for Badiashile, who did not really look comfortable on the right side against Tottenham. Looked better when he switched to the left, but obviously, like I said, minor injury for him in training in the week. So Tosin steps in with Malo Gusto coming back into right side of the defence. Obviously, Romeo Lavia being out means Caicedo moves back into midfield, so no need for him to deploy at right back. Malo Gusto, I'm sure, is going to be crucial today. A big battle for Chelsea on the wings today. I think Brentford very fast in transition, very good at getting the ball out wide and getting balls into the box. So Malo Gusto is going to have a lot. He's going to have a lot to do. He's going to have a lot on his hands with Lewis Potter. It says here Mbuemo starting on the right, Lewis Potter on the left. I don't know if that will be consistent throughout the whole game. I think, Brentford tend to have a fairly fluid front line, and obviously they've got Sharda Carvalho on the bench. So a lot of talent on the wings for Brentford for us to think about. But Caicedo obviously in the centre of midfield with Enzo Fernandez. Caicedo being the best player in the Premier League this season, the most consistent performer out of any single player in the Premier League. I've said it before, I'll say it again, I'm standing by it. Until he drops his level of performance, he has been sensational. There is not a better player at the moment in the Prem for me. And obviously Enzo Fernandez, ever since he ditched his misses, he is on demon time. Goals, assists, performances, you name it, he's bringing it, man. Ever since he got dropped, he's been playing with a chip on his shoulder, playing like he's got a point to prove. So today, another big game for him. Obviously, without the protection of Romeo Lavia, fingers crossed with Caicedo and that back four should be enough for Enzo Fernandez to have his impact today. But there will not be a lot of space in that midfield. Obviously, Brentford playing a three in midfield or central midfield, similar to us. But Cole Palmer in the number 10 will be allowed a lot of creative freedom. Doesn't really have to do much in terms of his defensive work. And he is flanked either side by Jadon Sancho on the left, as expected. And with the absence of Pedro Neto through suspension, Maresca is on the right, obviously off the back of a goal last time out. And some pretty harsh words from Enzo Maresca. I think it's constructive criticism. And, even if you do think it is criticism, that's a little bit of a reach. I think it is definitely aimed to help him, and words of positive, words of encouragement from Maresca, speaking quite highly of Madueke's talent and just, kind of explaining what he needs to do to reach that talent, which, will not go on deaf ears. I'm sure Madueke will not like hearing that, but at the same time, he knows that he's not at the top of his game yet. He has the potential to be a very, very good player. And to reach that, he has to continue working hard, continue playing for not just the goals and assists, but playing for the team, putting in a proper team performance, putting in a proper shift. That's what I want to see from him today. Obviously, like I said, with the fullbacks, the wingers have a big job today. Lots of work going on down those sides. And leading the line back to normality with Nicholas Jackson. We do have Nkunku on the bench, despite obviously no Neto, no Mudryk, no João Felix. Christopher Nkunku is on the bench alongside Mark Gu. Josh Achimpong obviously returned against Astana in the week. Great for Chelsea fans and great for him to be back in this team. And he is joined by other youngsters, Tyreek George and Raksaki, both of whom have made appearances. I think George has made cameo appearance in the Premier League, if I'm not mistaken. But obviously Raksaki and George both starting against Astana. So, don't expect them to get minutes today, because I do think it's going to be a hectic game. I see a lot going on. I've said for a while, this is the one that Charms and I have both had an eye on in terms of being a really high intensity, high tempo, difficult game. I think in the run up to Christmas, we kind of identified Aston Villa and Tottenham as the two kind of main threats, as the two real big games that we would have to win. But make no mistake about it, I think Brentford is probably, in hindsight, going to be more difficult than both of those games. I know Tottenham, we probably played against ourselves in the first half against Tottenham. We definitely flattered them and made the game closer than it should have been. But I think Brentford today is going to be another big test. Like I said, high intensity, high tempo, a lot of danger. They're very good at getting the ball out wide, very fast in transition, very dangerous as well. And Buemo and Wissa and Charms, I'm sorry, bro, I've got to call you out. If anybody watched our pre-season predictions, when we were speaking about Brentford, Charms wasn't very complimentary, let's say, about Mbeumo, about Wissa. In the absence of Ivan Toney, it seemed to him like they were going to be doomed for defeat, doomed and condemned to potentially relegation, not just the bottom half of the table. But in the absence of Toney, they have flourished. They are thriving. They are playing fantastic football under Thomas Frank, who I think is one of the best managers in the league. I think tactically very, very good. His teams play with discipline, with intensity, with professionalism at the back, but also it's exciting, it's attacking, it's fast. It's what the Premier League should be. It's every single aspect of the game incorporated into one. I think he's a very, very tactically astute manager, and I think he does very well with the resources that he has had, the limited resources. Let's call it how it is. I know they got promoted, only a few seasons ago, but they've done very well, played very good football ever since they came into the Premier League. Kind of reminded me of that first season that Sheffield had when they had Lundstrom. I can't remember when it was. It was quite a few years back now. But when they came in and made a real impression playing three at the back with a style of football, it might even have been under Chris Wilder. But this Brentford side has shown that they've got longevity in the Premier League. They are here to stay. They're not one of these kind of yo-yo clubs that's going to go up, going to go down. Even when they lose their big players, they have lost quite a lot of players to other, I don't want to say bigger teams, but they have lost other, a lot of their core players, even if they've only been there for a season, 2 seasons. And, Toney was a big, I personally thought was going to be a big miss for them, even though they didn't really look like they lacked without him when he was injured. I thought it was always going to be a case of he's going to return and they're going to get better. Obviously, he never really came back and had the impact that he, had previous to his ban. And they have just gone from strength to strength since then. They haven't looked like they've needed him, week in, week out, producing exciting attacking football, great from the neutral perspective, but also for the club, moving the club forward with a style of play, attacking identity. Thomas Frank has really imprinted on this Brentford side. And I think a lot of the players, they've had a bit of stability now. A fair few of those players have been there for, 4 or 5 seasons now. They've got a good, solid base. And while they haven't been, massively dipping into the recruitment, they've been very, very smart with it. And the players that they've had, they have added to the team rather than having a detriment. And yeah, I think it's going to be a difficult task. I don't think we can underplay this. And Sunday, last game, I just think it's with Liverpool dropping points, Arsenal dropping points, Man City dropping points. I think this is the game where we've got to look at ourselves, and Enzo Maresca will be looking at them and going, look, I know I keep telling the media we're not title contenders, we're not title challengers. If we win today, there is nothing we can say to combat somebody saying you are in a title race, because it is a huge game today. Make no mistake about it. And if these Chelsea players look at that table, get their shit together and say, you know what, today is our opportunity to make a proper statement, lay down a proper statement. And if we win today, I know we've still got Everton, another bogey team, but Brentford are a team we haven't beaten since 2021, both in the league and the cup. I think in the 5 games that we played after, or 5 games that we've played since that last win, I'm pretty sure we've lost 3. They beat us 4-0 once. I distinctly remember that, and Buemo absolutely tearing us apart. I remember Robert Sanchez sprinting back to his goal after making a horrible mistake. Not looking forward to him at the back tonight with that intense press. of that intense work rate of Brentford, not even just the front line, but the whole team. They're going to be, I have no doubt they are going to be putting Robert Sanchez under ridiculous amounts of pressure. And as a goalkeeper that just loves a hospital ball, as a goalkeeper that loves to put his defenders in trouble and loves to cause us problems and to make his own, he just loves to put himself in the spotlight. I'm just praying today is one of those games he has where he makes fantastic saves and where he doesn't dilly-dally with it out the back. I'm not expecting him to make every single pass, and I'm not expecting him to set the world alight. But if he can just keep it together in terms of the saves, if he can just keep it together in terms of not making stupid hospital balls when we are getting pressed, look, I'll bake off. I'm going to give him a little bit of, I'm going to try and give him a little bit of slack today. But I am not, I've definitely, and I've said this for the last 4 or 5 times that we've been on stream and kind of, we mentioned the whole gambling betting thing. Both teams to score, lump your house on it today. I've the first team in a while that I've actually backed, first time in a while, sorry, that I've actually backed it. So actually, you know what, it probably won't come in, knowing my luck and knowing what happens. But it's a dead cert today with the attacking of Chelsea, the attack of Brentford, and even as good as their defense is, they're not good enough to shut us out. We're not good enough to shut them out. Yeah, I think it's going to be a chaotic game. If we thought that Tottenham-Chelsea was going to be, was fast, was high tempo, I think this is going to be equally, quick, equally as intense. But similarly, going on, from that Thomas Frank point, they have the ability to kind of shut down, to do play a low block, to frustrate us, to restrict us in terms of that fast, dynamic transition, that fast attacking play that we are kind of used to. And I think Madueke Sancho will obviously thrive on a high tempo game, with it going back forward. I mean, I know that it means they've got to do a lot more work, but at the same time, it means a lot more space. The game will open up for them. They'll get a lot more chances to cut in and to have a go, which is why I'm also putting money on both Madueke Sancho to have shots, as well as Mbeumo Wissa. You know what? Shots galore in this game. I can see there being a lot of space, a lot of chances in and around the penalty areas for players to get shots off. And I just think it's got one of those, it's got that Chelsea of last season with, and also I say Chelsea of last season, I'm talking like we didn't just beat Tottenham 4-3. I was going to say the Chelsea of last year, 4-3 Man United, 4-4 Man City. I think it could be another 4-3 Tottenham. I think it could be another very high, 5+ goals. I just don't see any way that this game isn't incredibly high tempo and exciting, particularly given, Stamford Bridge on a Sunday night. I expect the Chelsea crowd to be fantastic tonight. I haven't seen many tickets going, which means a lot of people have been, keeping their tickets and going to this game, which is fantastic. The support against the Astana in midweek, traveling God knows how many hours, 14-hour round trip or 14 hours each way or whatever it was to watch your team, watch your C team, watch essentially the under 21s play in -10 degrees. Hats off to every single one of the Chelsea fans that travelled. And, tonight we need that 12 man. Tonight that's going to be crucial because they're going to be up for it. They will have seen the opportunities. And let's not get it twisted. Brentford are very much in and around we've got Man United winning today puts them back in the mix. You've got Nottingham Forest winning, Newcastle back winning strongly again, Aston Villa dropping points. Brentford are going to see this as an opportunity tonight to head towards that top 4. I don't know if they could get top 4 with a win tonight, but they're certainly going to look at that as an opportunity to get closer to it, to get within touching distance of those big teams. And obviously City dropping points again. I know a win today would have taken them within 6 points of the title, but they're going to be looking in amongst the European positions now. Teams like Nottingham Forest are going to be looking to overtake them. It's a real melee in and around those 6th, 7th, 8th position, just below the top 4. There are a lot of teams, a lot of good potential candidates to be scraping European football this season. And I think it's, definitely good to see the Premier League thriving. I think obviously we've all been kind of locked for a while in the Premier League's not what it used to be. But I think in not even recent seasons, this season particularly, I think we're seeing the quality of goals go up, the intense football go up. I think it really is, and as Charms has said in his videos, it's kind of a changing of the guard with a lot of the bigger teams, Tottenham and United kind of struggling. Obviously Arsenal losing momentum massively this season, really struggling to dig out anything in terms of an identity, a style up. Mikel Arteta is faltering after 5 years there. And there's a real, new managers resurgent in Chelsea and Liverpool. Manchester United got Ruben Amorim. Let's see if he can do it. Derby Day win for him today. Fantastic for them. Don't think they're going to be able to keep up the level. They've shown too many inconsistencies under Amorim already. And even today, I just think this City side is absolutely god-awful. Why did we have to play Man City first game of the season? Why did that have to be us? That was peak from you, Premier League. Because if we'd have played them 2 months later, 3 months later, 4 months later, we would have beaten this City side 6-0. I'm confident of it. But yeah, man, can't be bitter about that because at the end of the day, we're going to play them again. And you know what? I bet they would have come back around by the time that we played them again as well. I bet they'll be back winning. They'll be back top form. But yeah, man, this Man City drought at the moment is absolutely nuts. And you can see not just teams like Chelsea licking their lips. You can see the Nottingham Forest, the Brentfords, the Brightons. Their eyes are lighting up. They're thinking, you know what? This could be our chance to do, I don't want to say do a Leicester because that's a bit reaching. Liverpool, although they dropped points this weekend, still in control. Chelsea title charge. Arsenal still collecting points, still in and around the mix. And like I said, it is a real melee down there. 1 win for Manchester United today, throws them back in it. A couple wins for Tottenham, throws them back in it. But, teams like I said, teams like Brentford their eyes will be lighting up. They will be looking at this Premier League season as, look, we can go out there and do something special this year. This is real. And I know we say it every single season. Premier League, anybody can beat anybody. But this season, it seems like we say it every year. This season, more than ever, it's anybody can beat anybody. And Brentford, play as good a football as any side in the Premier League, I think, this season, is in terms of, from a neutral perspective, to watch it. It's thoroughly enjoyable. I think the quality is very good. And as I've said, Thomas Frank is an excellent tactician. Let's get our score predictions in, by the way. I know I've said there's going to be a lot of goals. I'm thinking on a score prediction. I'll get that in a minute. But get your score predictions in the chat, guys. And obviously, it is a live episode. Comment your thoughts on the team lineup. Are you happy with the team? What are your thoughts? Make sure to like and subscribe if you're not already. Make sure to subscribe if you're not subscribed already. You know what it is. Amir, what you say, my bro? Good to have you. My name isn't Alex, but big up yourself. I am well. I'm looking forward to this game. It's Sunday. Normally, this is the time where we're winding down. I've got work tomorrow. This could be, this is a make or break game because this could really tip me off for a shit week of work, or this could light up my weekend. Because if we win tonight, if we go closer to Liverpool, if we stretch the gap over City, over Arsenal, I'll be gassed for the week. I'll be set for the week. So this is, like I said, this has the potential to be it is a massive game for Chelsea. It has the potential to be a huge, huge 3 points if we do win this. But guys, let me know what your score predictions are. I'm going to give you my score predictions in a hot sec, but let me know what your predictions are for the score. Looking forward to the game that should guarantee us the 3 points to keep us in the second spot. Up the Chelsea. Come on, you Blues. Keep the blue flag flying high. Exactly that, Amir. Amir, you haven't let me know what your score prediction is, though, bro. You have to tell me what you're thinking. I know everyone's thinking goals today. I don't know one person that hasn't said today is going to be goals, goals, goals. So, yeah, man, let's get into the predictions, man. Get your predictions in the chat. Score predictions. Are Chelsea going to win? And if so, by how many? Or are Mbeumo and Wissa going to do the business on Chelsea today? The bee's knees, because they are the bees. They are the bee's knees. If one of them knee slides and they win today, the commentator's going for the bee's knees. Even though Chelsea aren't on TV and I'm not watching it. Please don't come to my house. I know they're cracking down with the fire sticks. Please don't come to my house. But yeah, get your predictions in the chat, guys, because I'm going to be locking this off in uno secondo. I've just spilled water on myself. Oh, shit, I've just spilled more. But yeah, I'm going 3-2 Chelsea. I think it will be, as I say that, I think 2-2. But I'm going confident. I'm going 3 points Chelsea. I think we can do this. I think we've got more than enough. I think even though Brentford are a bogey team, like I said, haven't beaten them in the league or otherwise since 2021. We beat them twice in a matter of a couple of months in 2021. We haven't beaten them in 5 attempts since. Of those, we've lost 3, including a 4-0 battering. So we can't really be, letting our guard down today. We can't afford to look at this lightly. We got to give them respect, but not too much respect. We got to remember what we can do to teams when we turn up to 100. We demolished Wolves this year. And yes, Wolves have been shit, but they were quite good on that day and they still scored 2 against us. As long as we can keep it tight at the back, Tosin, Colwill, big job for them today. Gusto, Cucurella, huge job for them today down the wings, because I'm assuming they're going to be having to do the inverted role as well when we're going forward. Gusto particularly, I think it's that role is a little bit too much for him. And today, I feel like he could well get overwhelmed if they do kind of flood that left-hand side or his right-hand side. But yeah, man, you know what it is. I've got faith in Gusto. I think he's a quality player. And in the absence of Reece James, there's no one better to deputise and no one better to take on the mantle of right back for Chelsea. So I've got faith in Malo Gusto. I've got faith in this team. I think it's a nice lineup, you know, even without Neto, Mudryk, João Felix, Badiashile, Lavia, fair amount of illness, injuries, absences, suspensions, whatever you want to say. This Chelsea side still has more than enough to get the job done in the squad that we've got. So let's get it in, man. Last chance for you to get your score predictions in the chat, guys. But yeah, make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Follow at Two Blues Podcast on the Instagram, on the TikTok. Obviously, as always, live match reaction on the final whistle. Just come to this channel. I've already got the live match reaction link set up, so you can go over and like it or turn the notifications on to remind yourself when I go live. And that way you don't have to wait, sit there waiting in the chat, whatever. But whatever it is, man, at Two Blues Podcast, Instagram, TikTok, subscribe to the channel if you're not already. Get your predictions in the chat. Live match reaction as soon as we are done on the game. Make sure you are here. No other place to be when Chelsea are playing. Big up. Peace.